Salutations, this is Crazed Kitsune, aka Khuma'zi Tayuun, and welcome to Machinist for Dummies, level 60. In this video, I will be going over the anything new to Machinist at level 60 that they didn't have at level 50, and how this affects your overall play. Sorry about any clicking, that's me having to mute my mic whenever I need to spit up some phlegm or blow my nose, because I have mucus issues. I've had them for years. There's no getting better. Don't ask me to wait. Anyway, at level 60, we gain the trait Enhanced Dexterity 3, which increases our dexterity by 24, which increases the damage we do. Huzzah! As for the skills, at 52, we gain Gauss Barrel, which is a 10-second cooldown. This 10 seconds this cooldown starts when you activate it, and also when you deactivate it. With Gauss Barrel active, you deal 5% more damage, but your weapon skills all increase your heat gauge. If your heat gauge hits 100%, then your gun goes into overheat, and for the next 10 seconds, you deal 10% more damage. And then Gauss Barrel automatically de-equips itself, meaning you have to wait 10 seconds before you can put it back on, and so you're doing a little less damage. This is just going to happen. You can't stop it, except by turning off Gauss Barrel. But what you're going to be doing is trying to time a burst to go off when your Gauss Barrel overheats for maximum damage. All weapon skills increase your heat gauge by 5. At level 54, you get Gauss Round, which is a 15-second cooldown, allowing you to use a potency 200 attack on your target every 15 seconds. You should generally be doing this every time it's off cooldown, only holding back if you're trying to put together a burst. At level 56, you get Dismantle. This 90-second cooldown allows you to debuff a single enemy for 5 seconds. During those 5 seconds, they do 10% less damage. This is useful for doing things like mitigating tank busters. At level 58, we get Hypercharge. This is a very, very nice cooldown. It's a 2-minute cooldown, so you can't use it too terribly often, but once activated for the next 20 seconds, your turret's potency has been increased. Rook's potency doubles from 80 to 160, and Bishop's goes up from 60 to 90. But on top of that, they also will continuously apply, as long as they are attacking something for those 20 seconds, a 5% vulnerability up to their affected targets. The Rook auto turret only affects one, and the Bishop auto turret affects everything around it. Obviously, you can only use this skill when you have a turret out. Otherwise, what would be the point? Finally, at level 60, we have Ricochet. This is a 60-second cooldown, and it is a potency 300 attack to your target, as well as affecting all enemies within a 5 yalm radius of that target. It suffers a diminishing return for each additional enemy, losing 10% damage, scaling all the way down to 50% if you have 6 or more enemies. This doesn't mean that if you use it and there are 6 or more enemies, it does half damage to everything. It means that the 6th enemy hit takes half damage. Everything else is a scaling 10% until it hits that point. So it's worth using in any kind of AoE fight. With that all out of the way, it's time for the practical demonstration. Let's throw out a turret, and I'm going to attempt to show off the overheat first. So this is going to take a little while to build up my heat. While I do, I might as well just, beat on this poor, defenseless striking dummy. Doop-de-doo. We're halfway there. Oh, never mind. Because I'm forced to have heated shots. And those change things, because they're more powerful, because they're something for post-60. But, essentially, your burst is the same burst as always. You just want to try and use a burst when your gun overheats. I can at least show off overheating. We're getting closer. Just 2 more hot shots. My gun has overheated. Until it finishes being overheated, I do 10% more damage, which is useful. But then you suffer a DPS down for 10 seconds. Overall, it's, well, worth it. You should be using your Gauss Barrel. You should always be using your Gauss Barrel because it is a DPS up. Let's hypercharge my Rook. It's now hitting harder, and that enemy now has vulnerability up until it stops being in hypercharge. It will continue to reapply that every 3 seconds. So it's very nice. And that's Gauss round. And here's Ricochet. Very nice. When you're doing a burst at this point, what you would do is you'd make sure that you have your hot shot active. You would use reload. Then you would use split shot, and I follow it with Gauss round and Ricochet. Then I would use slug shot. Then I would use reassemble and then clean shot, and then I would use quick reload followed by split shot and slug shot. With your rapid fire on and wildfire ticking, you should be able to get all the way to your second slug shot before wildfire detonates, allowing for a reasonably sizable amount of compiled damage. But that's the demonstrations all over with. I've covered everything that can be covered without showing off skills that don't belong in a level 60 video. Hopefully this video has been informative and helpful. If it hasn't, well, I'm going to have to do some tinkering. Until my next video, goodbye.